All right, guys, today we are going to be talking about physical and chemical changes. This is going to cover Physical Science Standard PS2, which asks us to identify and differentiate between physical and chemical changes. So what exactly are they and how are they different? Well, a physical change is going to be a change that affects the form of a substance, but not its physical composition. So a really good example of a physical change is weight loss. So after you lose weight, you are still the same person. You haven't changed anything but your body composition. So that's a really good example of a physical change. Another one is breaking a piggy bank. So after you've broken the piggy bank to get the money out, you still have a piggy bank, it's just in smaller pieces. Some other common physical changes are boiling, melting, freezing, and shredding. Now, chemical changes are a little different because a chemical change is the interaction of two substances that form a new one. So once a chemical reaction has taken place, you can't go back to the original items because now something new has been created. It's irreversible. So some common chemical changes are burning, cooking, rusting, and rotting. So there are also common misconceptions that come along with chemical and physical changes also. And those are that for physical, some people think that all physical changes are reversible, which most of them are, but if you go back to the piggy bank example, that's going to be really hard to reverse that. Can it be done? Yes. You can glue all those little teeny tiny pieces back together, but it's going to be a lot harder than it seems. And then some people also think that matter is lost during physical change, which is not true too. There was an example I saw online where there's an element called gallium, and when you stir it in hot water, it dissolves. So they used an example of stirring a spoon made of gallium, and after it dissolved and you looked in the bottom of the water, it was still there. It just wasn't shaped like a spoon anymore. It was just a hard disc of the cooled element. So it didn't change the composition or the weight, it just changed the shape. So those are the common misconceptions of physical changes. And then chemicals, some people think automatically heat equals chemical change, which it doesn't. Take popcorn, for example. If you pop a kernel on the stove, you are using heat, but then once it popped, it's still popcorn. So popcorn, even though using heat, would be an example of a physical change, not chemical. And the same goes for boiling water. If you're making simple syrup with sugar and water, after that cools, that sugar can be extracted from that. It doesn't make something completely new. But heat is needed for that change. And then also, some people think that chemical changes are not reversible, and some of them are. It just depends on the example you're using. Like the one that they gave me that's really good is they have spoons that if you put it in baby food and it changes color, then the food is too hot to feed the baby. It's kind of a warning in case you get a hot spot in the middle of it or something that you're not aware of, or you didn't stir it well enough. But then after that cools down, it goes back to the original color. So that's an example of a chemical change that is reversible, but it is pretty rare to find ones that are reversible. So now we are going to test your knowledge and see if you've been listening to me. So we have slicing a lemon. We're trying to find out if this is a physical or a chemical change. So take a minute and let me know what you think. All right, so slicing a lemon is a physical change because you start off with a whole lemon and then you slice it, and then when you're finished, you just have smaller pieces of the same lemon. It tastes the same, nothing's changed, didn't turn into an orange, it's just still a lemon. So that is kind of like the piggy bank, where it is a good example of a physical change. So the next one is going to be a campfire. So take a minute. A campfire is an example of a chemical change. This is because the logs burn. So when it starts off, it's a log, and after the burning process, it's ash. It's something new. You can't take that pile of ash and turn it back into a log. So that is your example of a physical change. I lied. That is your example of a chemical change, excuse me. All right, so I found this video slightly cringy, but very, very helpful in remembering the difference between physical and chemical changes. And it's just a fun way to wrap the lesson up, and maybe it'll get stuck in your head and help you on assessments later on. It's a little catchy, so thank me later, guys. Alrighty, guys, so that is it for this lesson, and I hope that this has helped you learn how to differentiate between a physical and chemical change. Thank you very much, and you guys all have a wonderful day. Bye.